my love. So I wanted to share a little bit more about synthesis, which will be coming out very soon in the next few, I guess, less than 2 weeks. And the reason I decided to create this course was for a few reasons. I felt, and I still feel like there's this necessity and longing for people to be able to really use their own wisdom and knowledge, like in their own body, this deep, deep wisdom that the body holds, and for us to be able to do that on our own, like through ourselves on our own. So this self-paced program, it came out of working with a lot of women online, one-on-one, and also this idea of like, wait a second, like you can also do this yourself, right? And I'm a firm believer that everyone deserves to have this knowledge and to be able to tap into their body and realign themselves, come back into balance without the need for anyone externally, right? So synthesis has quite a few different pieces to that puzzle. There are 5 different sections to it, and it really is for any creature on this earth that longs to tap deeper into the understanding that is your voice and your breath and your body ultimately. Because when we start tapping into this portal that lies within our body, our world begins to change. We begin to see and realize things in our lives that we don't need anymore, we don't want, or that just don't align with us anymore. And when we begin to see those things through bringing our awareness to the breath and opening the body more, opening, stretching, expanding, we start to see things in a new way. And when we start to see these things in a new way, it then brings our desires to a different level, and our wants and our needs and the things that we don't want and we don't need anymore. And they all come kind of front to our face. So synthesis is really for that person that's ready to confront these things and really ready to step it up in their life, in this game of life, and this longing to step more fully into your power and remember your confidence, remember your light. And my method of doing this and how it's worked for so many of my clients and in my own life has been through tapping deeper and deeper and deeper into the body, into the breath, and into the voice. So let's dive in. We've got 5 different parts to synthesis, and there's really something for everyone, I feel. So part 1 is really everything about vocal technique. It brings in my 12 plus years of vocal training, training as a classical musician as well as a pop singer, musical theater, writing my own music, a very broad spectrum. And this is really going to be for the people that love that nerdy shit, you know, they love to understand how the voice works, like feeling these different things, building a really strong foundation in their voice and in their breath, and also strengthening the voice, lengthening your range, broadening, you know, really opening up. These vocal techniques and warm-ups are going to be exactly that for those people that really want to build strength in their voice, not only for singing, but also for speaking. You know, if you're a facilitator holding space, knowing how to use your voice is so important. and also for performers on different spectrums. If you're a hip-hop artist or a poet, using your voice and your breath are so important. They're everything, you know? So that's part 1, vocal technique and warm-ups. Part 2 is everything that has to do with the breath. So not only how to breathe for singing, but how to breathe for life. And how when we start changing our breath, deepening, opening, expanding our breath, our whole life changes. The things are going to start coming up in you that were, you know, suppressed for a long time or kind of like put away for a while, just through deepening the breath. So I teach a bit how to open the breath, how to breathe for life and for singing, how to support yourself through that breath. And then on top of that, I'm also offering different breathing techniques for different situations. So when we're in those heightened states of feeling overwhelmed, of feeling anxious, stressed out, just feeling not really in our center, overstimulated, there are breathing techniques that you can really use to bring yourself back into homeostasis, into balance. And I include quite a few different options in the breathing portion. And yeah, the breath is just, you could have a whole session or a whole teaching just on the breath. But I wanted to really bring it full circle to encompass everything that I use in my own life and that I've used with my clients over the years. And just the things that really work, you know? I like to cut out the bullshit, and I want to just give you what works, you know? And it doesn't mean that everything is going to work for you. It means that everyone is different, so I include many different exercises to see and for you to try out what works for me, what can I put and add into my toolbox to support me on this journey of life. So those are the first 2 sections, vocal technique warm-ups and the breath. Now section 3 is where it gets really juicy and fun and kind of weird. If you know me, then you know I'm pretty fucking weird. So this really brings me a lot of joy to include vocal exploration. So this is going to be you exploring all the colors, the different textures of your voice, how to use your voice differently, manipulating the voice in different ways to find different sounds. And we're going to dive into vocal archetypes, so the grandfather, the grandmother, and the child, and the creature, the animal, you know, these different animals. This is all a part of us, right? We're such a dense being, and the voice is a portal that we can access to tap deeper into this existence in this body, right? So the vocal exploration section is really exactly that. It's a self-exploration of your voice, and it gets really weird. Expect it all, or maybe have no expectations is probably the best idea. So that's part 3. Then we've got section 4, which is, of course. It's all about self-healing, which I don't like this term is kind of not my bread and butter, not my jam, because I've in the feeling that we don't need to heal anything. We are already whole. We are already healed. We don't need to be healed. So it's interesting because I use this term for the section. It's like the self-healing and nervous system regulation section. Because really it was for lack of a better phrase to use. But this section has been my lifesaver and my tools that I go to, that I have on me all the time when I need them. And yeah, so this is going to be a lot about how to bring your system back into alignment, back into a reset state. And this is going to include the breath, the voice, the body, all things, kind of taking those pieces, the voice and the breath and the body, and like putting them together. And the reason I included this, and I thought it was so important, is because this has really changed my own life. I went from being a very anxious person, very stressed out person, who couldn't even ride on public transportation without like feeling high anxiety, and not panic attacks, but I felt like my breath was very shallow. I had to close my eyes constantly because it was just overwhelming, overstimulating. And I went from that to the person that now, is traveling the world and going to places that I have never been, and feeling little to no anxiety in my body on a day-to-day basis. So that's like my baseline is no anxiety. Where my baseline used to be, I wake up with anxiety. So in the nervous system regulation, when we talk about this is basically the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for the fight or flight or freeze response when we get into overstimulated states or overwhelmed states. So I'm bringing in techniques and things that have worked for me and for other clients. Different ways to really like reset your system and take care of yourself so that you don't have to always rely on outside sources, right? You can resource yourself with these techniques. So that's section 4. Now there's an extra added 5th section that will be just my love, like just things that are really dear to me that don't necessarily fit into any of the 4 sections. It will be mantras, some guided meditations, possibly a drum journey, things dealing with alignment, posture, just extra goods that really are important as well, and things to think about and consider along this journey. Yeah, so that is synthesis. That is this baby, this complete merging of my experience and my culmination and experience in this body of the voice and the breath, and how it has really changed my life and allowed me and guided me and supported me in standing more fully in my power and sharing my light and my magic with the world. Because I was always singing and using my breath, but it was a lot of times very unconscious and very I wasn't aware of the like this healing aspect or this depth to it. And when I started bringing my awareness to it, I mean, it's like this awakening that happens, you just awaken and you can't go back to sleep. And yeah, that's where I am with this. It's why I'm sharing it. I want everyone to be able to have these tools to use, because we deserve it for ourselves and for like to take care of ourselves, and in return that takes care of others and the planet. When we take care of ourselves, and truly, I'm talking about truly taking care of ourselves, like listening to the body, getting out of the mind and into the body, and really honoring yourself and your system, and loving yourself.